And we're back. Another divisional round game for the San Francisco 49ers. I guess this would be the third one under head coach Kyle Shanahan, but this would be the first time that he's in the divisional round or in the playoffs in general without Jimmy Garoppolo as the starter. Hey, Kyle Shanahan, long days past the non-Garoppolo starters of C.J. Beathard, Brian Hoyer, Nick Mullins. So it's definitely a far and away from that version of Kyle Shanahan and this San Francisco 49ers. And they're going to be taking on the Dallas Cowboys, as you guys know. How would you not know that they're taking on the Dallas Cowboys? But in this particular video, I did want to mention to like, subscribe, and, follow the content. But I wanted to mention on a real note, Brock Purdy versus Dak Prescott. I know I've said it myself, it's not a boxing match. These guys aren't throwing blows at each other. They may be against each other's teams, but it's not at each other. Similar to how baseball players are in the starting pitchers. There's a pitcher's duel going on. They're shutting down each side. But now with the universal DH, these pitchers aren't going at each other. They're going against the opposing team. And I know Dak Prescott has the more achieved resume, has more playoff wins as well under his belt than a Brock Purdy, since Brock Purdy only has one playoff game played. Now, this is the thing. I've seen multiple playoff quarterback rankings, from Patrick Mahomes being one to Daniel Jones being last, or Josh Allen being one and Brock Purdy being last. But this is the thing for me. Brock Purdy has the advantage over Dak Prescott. And the reason why he has that advantage, let me take you back. If this was fantasy football, they do rankings each week about not how good a player is, not their resume over their career, or even that season. It's who they're playing. And that's the thing with Brock Purdy versus Dak Prescott. If this was fantasy football, and those were your only two options to start one of those two quarterbacks, who would you start? Personally, I'm going Brock Purdy over Dak Prescott. Now, we saw Dak Prescott had his worst playoff game in his career versus the 49ers last season, while he had probably his best playoff game, definitely his best playoff game of his career last week on Monday versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But this is not the Buccaneers defense. We've seen Brock Purdy tear apart that Buccaneers defense as well. So if this was fantasy football, odds are, I would say probably 70% of you are going to start Brock Purdy over Dak Prescott. And it's not me, don't get it twisted. It's not me saying Brock Purdy is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott. Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback, and Dak Prescott's not. I'm not saying that. I'm saying based on the matchup, I would rather have Brock Purdy go against this Dallas defense than Dak Prescott go against this San Francisco 49ers defense. We saw what, Gardner Minshew did against this Dallas defense. Threw for over 300 yards, had 3 total touchdowns, had about 27 points because one of the other touchdowns that Philly scored that game, where their total was 34, was a pick six by their edge rusher, Sweat there. So I'm not going to chalk that up, obviously, to Gardner Minshew, but their offense put up 27 points, over 300 yards passing, 3 total touchdowns, 2 in the air, 1 rushing. I've heard this is the best defense that Purdy is going to face in his so far young career. Well, that narrative could be true, but let's not this Dallas defense can't be had, because they've had before Look at Washington last week, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago at this point. So I do have a lot of confidence in what Brock Purdy can achieve, because even looking at this matchup, give me the quarterback who has Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, third and Juwan Jennings, that is, compared to Dak Prescott. Now, he does have some nice weapons. Pro Bowler Tony Pollard. I laugh because, Tony Pollard had a hell of a season, but Christian McCaffrey wasn't Pro Bowler. That was very strange. That's a non-homer take. He's probably RB1 based off of production in the season and value to a team. Obviously, the 49ers have been undefeated in his start so far, 11-0. That is. But yeah, Tony Pollard, Zeke, I don't like. That would be like me. Like, I mentioned all these players. While I like Elijah Mitchell, if I gave the 49ers Elijah Mitchell, I would have to give the Dallas Cowboys Zeke. So I'll scratch those twos off. Dalton Schultz is a pretty good tight end. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb is a stud. But then there's some question marks as well at the receiver position for the Cowboys. Gallup, he's kind of there. He's kind of not. Noah Brown, I've heard some Cowboy fans not like the guy at all, although he's had the second highest production from that position this season for the Cowboys. They have T.Y. Hilton. Yeah, not too concerned with that. He's so far, he seems like he's been a zone finder, which is key, obviously, if you're a veteran and you can find the zone and pick up some first downs. But the 49ers do run quite a bit of man. They will hop to some zone, and that's probably where you'll see T.Y.'s catches come in. But I don't expect him to be burning any of these 49ers defensive backs in man coverage. He's not that guy as he once was with the Colts. So it's like Brock Purdy has by far better weapons, in my opinion. He's got the better defense, in my opinion. So that's why the advantage is Brock Purdy. Now, obviously, you don't want to have a stinker if you're Brock Purdy and all of a sudden it's like, oh, he looks like pick 262. I don't expect that to happen. And you can't have one of those games if you want to move on to the NFC Championship round. But he does not need to outplay Dak Prescott. That's why I give another advantage to Brock Purdy. If the Cowboys are going to win this game, which I don't think they will, Dak Prescott will have to outplay Brock Purdy. He will have to outplay Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy does not have to outplay Dak Prescott to win this game. Now, 49ers defense has been so dominant that Brock Purdy has outplayed every quarterback he's gone against. Stidham had a great game with the Las Vegas Raiders against this 49ers defense, but he had two costly turnovers and one that eventually lost them the game in overtime for the Raiders. So I can't say Stidham outplayed Brock Purdy if you literally threw the interception that lost your team the game. So that's the thing with this defense. It allows Brock Purdy to outplay any quarterback that he goes against this season in his starts. So while I do expect Brock Purdy to outplay Dak Prescott, he does not have to if the 49ers are going to win this game. There's two advantages for you. One is that Purdy is facing the Dallas defense and not the San Francisco defense. And two, Brock Purdy does not have to outplay Dak Prescott. So that's why Brock Purdy has the advantage here for the San Francisco 49ers. And when you have those two advantages, those two are huge. They are huge, huge, huge. And that's why I expect the San Francisco 49ers to come away with the win, probably travel on to Philadelphia after this game. If you like what I said, if you were vibing with me, go ahead, smash the like button, because that's how we get more views here. Subscribe to the channel, because obviously I want to keep the engagement going, do some live streams here. As I know I've gotten away from them, but do some live streams, have some people come on with me during those live streams. Let's do it. Let's do it. Also check out Bay Area Sports Digest on Instagram. That's not just 49ers content. That'll provide you with 49ers, San Francisco Giants, as well as the Golden State Warriors. Once again, this is Leo Luna. Talk to you soon.